We are doing a social studies review. So Jack will wait for you. Let's just kind of go over a few things before we start the actual review. Before I start throwing candy at you. Let's wait for Jack because that is what we should do. All right, so you looked at the map on page 65, correct?
Yes.
Now, if you look on page 67, what is that a picture of? It's a very small, a lot of grids. Who can tell me what that is? Grant. Huh? I didn't hear you, I'm sorry. No, what is that area above the Potomac? That's all grid. That's an actual area. What area is that? McKenna. You can't really see it very well. But would you remember the map we did? It was all in grids, and that's how you found everything. What was that a map of? Who remembers? Cole. Washington, D.C. If we turn to, remember Pierre L'Enfant designed Washington as a grid. So if you turn on page 38 of your text or of your manual, remember that is the exercise we did, and those are all of the, or some of the places and squares indicate memorials or buildings. Who's ever been to Washington, D.C.? Raise your hand. Some of you. There are a lot of monuments. There are a lot of places that, the Lincoln Memorial, the World War II Memorial, the Washington Monument, the Korean War, there's a Vietnam Memorial. There's tons of monuments and place of history. And it is all, which I find fascinating, it was all designed in this grid, which is a very unique design. So also on page 39, there is another map. You need to look at that map as well. Page 39 in your textbook. Who can tell me what number 9 is on that map? On page 39 of your manual. What is number 9, Grant? New York City. What is significant about New York City? Besides the fact that it's a big city, what is the historic relevance of it? Tyson?
It has like all those big monuments and all that stuff.
That's Washington, D.C. What, New York City, there is a significant, besides the fact that it's one of the biggest cities in the world, it also was something that it was historically relevant for our chapter now. We studied. Yes, Grant? What's that? There's a lot of banks. That's where the stock exchange is, which is kind of a huge bank type thing, most of our stocks, but Cole.
It has the capital of
Now, the national capital is in Washington, D.C. Jeremiah.
It has the Statue of Liberty.
It does, but that's not what I'm looking for. It was our first what, friends? Owen.
President?
No, Washington, or New York City was not our first president. Helen.
Capital?
What about, what, the capital what? What, complete the whole sentence. New York City was our first,
Capital?
yes. Before Washington, D.C., New York City was our capital.
Yes.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
All right, so Jack will have to come and join us when he is done. What is a precedent, not president, a precedent. Wenshine.
An example.
Yes. Yes. Who set the precedent as the first president? Wenshine. I mean, not when I just get through the candy. Emmy. Who set the precedent as our first president? Tessa. George Washington. No. You're picky when it comes to candy. What? All right. We just kind of said, who was the United States' first president? McKenna. George Washington. Nice. What is the Electoral College? What is the Electoral College? What is the purpose? And, okay, let's say that first. What is the Electoral College? Helen.
It's when, like probably a couple, electors come from each state, and then they say who they want to vote for.
Very good. So electors from each state gather to help choose the President of the United States and still exists today. What was a circuit riding president, Sam?
Teacher, you mean?
Yeah, what did I say?
President.
No, not a president. Sorry, a circuit riding preacher.
A preacher that goes around town that helps people pray.
Help people what?
Pray, kind of ish.
Yes. So if you envision what the Western territories were like, there were not a lot of established churches. So there were large areas that needed preachers. So these circuit riding preachers would go around into these different areas and hold church and help people pray, like Sam said, and do his preacher duties. So he would have a huge territory that he would preach to. So that was a circuit riding preacher, not president. All right. What is the president's cabinet? Hint, hint, not where he keeps his underwear and stuff. Cole.
All the secretaries.
Yes. And what did they do? Did they write notes? What did they do? What was the purpose? And who gave them the job, Cole? Yes. And these people, these secretaries as they were called, would do what? Did they have a purpose for the president? Paul, you can just continue.
Yeah, they would keep track of the money.
Well, that was one job. So so basically the president had his cabinet of people that he trusted to help him make decisions, because one person can't know everything. So he would have people, and still to this day, the president has a cabinet of people that he selects, that he wants to help him, or maybe someday her, run the country to the best of his or her ability. So this is going to be maybe a little more tricky, but maybe see if you guys could get it. So who was President Washington's cabinet? Who was Secretary of the Treasury? Grayson. Alexander Hamilton. You better have gotten that one right. Since that's who you are. let's see. Who was his Secretary of State? Tessa. Very good. Who was his Secretary of War? Jeremiah. James.
Henry Knox.
Good. This is fly nice. Go right to your hand. Must be the fish. And then finally, who became the Attorney General? The Attorney General. They were the 4 closest people in Washington's cabinet. Olivia.
Wayne.
No. Good guess though. That's a good one. He did something else for the president that also involved, but his was more of fighting. Tyson.
Do I have to do all 3 of all 4 of them?
No, I am looking for Attorney General.
I forgot.
Luke.
Thomas Jefferson?
No. Good guess. You've got 2 already. Helen.
Is it something Elton? Or like, it starts with an E?
His first name starts with an E. Edmund. Boy, your book should not be out. This is a review, so you need to close the book. Yeah, the books are not out, friends. This is a review, so please put your books away. Please put your books away. So, Tessa. Edmund Randall. She is raking it in. Good job. Oops, sorry. Overthrew that one. All right. Who wanted to start a national bank? Jack.
John Adams?
No. Ella. Alexander Hamilton.
Me. I want to start a bank.
Oh, you did start the national bank.
Yes. You wanted to or you did?
What is a budget? What is a budget? Winsheen.
A way of spending and saving money.
Beautiful. A way of spending and saving money. Good job. What was the Western Settlement? What was the Western Settlement? Helen.
Is it when Washington wanted to, like, find new land and then, but he didn't want to push the Indians?
Well, you're really on, you're really on, but what, it's more vague than that. Tyson.
It's when more, the 13 states got really crowded, so people moved into some of the territories.
Remember I showed you the map? Good, that was perfect. So it is the people moving out of the 13 original states. And as more and more people, obviously these 13 states grew. So they started moving west. Look at all this land that was yet to be settled. So that is the Western settlement. That is the beginning of people moving out of the original 13 and into the Western area settlement, or the Western lands. But, Helen, you are right. There was the whole problem of the Indians already lived there. What happened? So what did happen? Did the Indians and the settlers get along? No. No. All right. All right, so who lived in the unsettled land? We already kind of gave the answers to that. Who lived in the unsettled lands that the people wanted to move to? Who was already there? Jonathan. The Indians. And what country had people still there trading and living in forts? Cool. Yes, all those British. So they are still there in some forts trading with the Indians. And so this conflict started to grow because all of these people were coming into the land. Who owned the land? Nobody really, because the Indians didn't believe in owning land. But that's the quandary. So was there a battle? There's always a battle.
Yeah.
Can't we just get along, people?
No.
What was the battle that was fought with the Indians and the British because of this very reason? Emmy, what's that? Civil War? No. That's not for a while yet. Who has not had a chance? What was the battle? Toby? No. We have not talked about World War I yet. That's a long ways from now. M.
The Battle of Fallen Timbers.
The Battle of Fallen Timbers. Who won that? The Indians or the Americans? Gabe?
The Indians?
No.
Think about
Christian?
American.
Yes. Let's see. We need to study. Okay, true or false? Settlers in the Northwest were happy with the national government. Settlers in the northwest area of the territory, or the settlement, were happy. True or false? Gabe?
False.
No. Process of elimination. Just say it because it's really not true. So remember, the Northwest were happy with the national government. Who were unhappy with the national government? Owen. Yes. Whoa. Oh, nice catch. Yes. Yes. All right, so types of government. There's 3 types of government in 3 different levels. What government is in Washington, D.C.? National, state, or local? McKenna. Yes. And what sections of that government are on the national level? Who runs the national level of government, Ella? Yes. Who legislates over the laws and makes sure they're being run properly? Or makes them? Sam. So there's president. Remember, they split these 2 houses in half because of the Bill of Rights to make the compromise. But what is it called in just the national level? Owen.
Senate.
Ooh, so close. Olivia. Congress. And then, who makes sure the laws are not being broken? Oh, jeez. So these are the 3 branches of the national James.
Court.
Yes. More specifically, what court?
The judicial branch.
Right, the Supreme Court. Yes. All right, so we have determined the national branches. What is the next level? So we have national, Christian,
State.
state. Do we have a president on the state level?
No.
You get where the candy needs to go. So instead of a president, who resides over the state level? And he is also elected like a president. Luke.
The mayor.
No. This is state. Grant.
Governor.
Governor. Governor Evers. Oh, close but no close. All right, so we have a governor. Who else do we have? McKenna. Well, we do. I'll give you that. But what else? So we have courts. What else do we have? Helen. Legislatures. Very good. Oh, close but no close. All right, so state, we have governor, legislature, and courts. What about the next level? Who can tell me what that is? So we have national, which is in Washington, D.C. For the state of Wisconsin, it's in Madison. What's the next? Your hand up?
No.
McKenna.
Local.
Local.
Cookie.
All right, who is the top of the local level, or who is the, instead of the president or the governor, who do we have residing? Ella,
The mayor.
the mayor. Nice.
Cookie.
What's next? We have Congress, legislature. Who is in that level for local? Cole.
I just had it in my head.
You have it? Hate when that happens, especially when there's candy involved. Helen.
Local city.
Oh, you're so close. Toby. No. Sam.
Local state.
Oh, you're so close. Why are we pointing to Cole?
Oh, because these
Who
are
are we pointing to?
your members.
Oh, I thought something was going on. Okay, yes, Cole.
City council.
Yes.
Oh.
City council. All right, so we have mayor, city council. What else do we have? Winsheen.
Supreme Court again.
Yes, courts again. Oh, bounced off.
No cookie.
All right, very good. Where was the nation's first capital? Where was the nation's first capital? Christian.
New York.
Yes.
Confetti.
It's up to you, New York. Oh, no catching. All right. All right. How many terms can a president serve? How many terms, Emma? Yes. All right, so he can serve 2 terms. How many years is each term? Jack?
4.
Yes. Whoops. All right. What are political parties, boy? Well, yes. But you need to be more specific. They are people versus animals. What do these people do? Give boys some time to think. You are correct that they are people. What are they trying to do? Political parties. Don't know. You sure? Okay. Toby. Well, they don't want to run the government, but so they can't run the government because they're not elected. Only the president, Congress, and and the courts. But so they're not trying to run the government. What are they trying to do? Toby was close. James. Yes, gain power. So we'll give you both that because you both were close. Right. Oh, geez, that didn't fly far at all. That was a bummer. All right, so political parties. What were the two? Name one of the political parties. One, just one. Christian. You need to study this because these are going to be on the test. Same people. Olivia. I know what you're trying to say, but it's not the right word. You are right in that there are two hyphenated words. Grant. Yes, Democratic Republicans. That was one political party. Ready? Nice. What was the second political party? Emmy. Ella. The Federalists. Very good. Those were the two political parties. Do political parties still exist today? Yes. Does anybody know what they are called? Luke. No, that is a branch of government. M.
The Democrats and the Republicans.
Yes. Ironically, the names of the one party in one. The Democrats and the Republicans are still alive and well. True or false? Like Washington, Adams did not like political parties. True or false? Like Washington, meaning President Washington, George Washington, Adams did not like political parties. Tessa? True. Who is Adams? Who is John Adams? Sam?
The second president.
All right. What was the law, or what did the law do that Adams passed concerning newspapers and what they could and could not print? What did it involve? What did he say newspapers could not do? Jonathan.
That newspapers can't support political parties.
Ooh, that's part of it. But there was one part of that that needs to be highlighted that was key because it was not constitutional. Cool. So Adams passed a law that said that people and newspapers could not print bad, negative things about a political person. That was not constitutional. Why? What did it invade? A freedom of what? Tyson.
Freedom.
Okay. You sure?
Don't remember.
All right. James.
A freedom of war?
No. So just think about what newspapers do. It is a way of communicating. What constitutional right would that go against if they did away with that freedom? Owen.
Bill of Rights?
Jonathan.
The Constitution said they have a right to declare something?
No. This is a constitutional right, a freedom of McKenna.
Religion?
No. Helen.
Trading and farming?
No. So the Adams did away, or tried to pass a law, which was gotten rid of after he was no longer president, I might add, because it was not constitutional. What freedom is a newspaper using? Their way, that is a way for them to what? To communicate, but to what?
Freedom of the press?
Ooh, so close. That's not a constitutional right. What is the press doing?
Making the newspaper?
What are they using their right to do? What is that right giving them? To make a newspaper and to talk about, freedom of James.
People?
No. Olivia. What am I doing right now?
Nothing?
Freedom of Christian.
Speaking?
Yes! Freedom of speech! That is the constitutional right that Adams law went against.
Okay,
That is a huge freedom, friends.
okay, you scared me. Yeah, you scared me.
My over exuberant. All right. That is it. How do y'all feel?
Good. I probably need to study.
I think so. So, friends, again, when you go home tonight and you open up your textbooks, what are you going to do? You're going to look at something in particular that is in print in your book. What am I referring to, Christian?
Look at the bold words.
Yes. Look at the bold words. Look at the titles of the sections so you know exactly what they are talking about. Who are they talking about? There is on page 70, political parties. On page 65, New York City, talking about it being the first capital. Know the map. Go through on page 64, tells you the types of government, local, national, and state. These are important. You need to know these things. On page 58, there is the picture of Washington and his cabinet. Know these things. Bold words, pictures, look at it all, study it, go through and make sure you know what an electoral college is, what is a president versus a president. Yes,
Can I go to the bathroom?
yes. Now this is what I'm going to have you do. You can study